Yeah, hi there, and welcome back. And let us continue. So, in this section, we'll be learning about the lint, and we will see what is a lint and how does it work and why it is useful. And finally, we'll go and create our Android Studio project and how we can actually go and use a lint in the Android Studio project. And if you are not familiar with the lint, just stay with me and we'll be learning everything from the beginning to the end, and we'll be creating a final project over here. So let us take a look on the lint. And lint is not only in the Android development. You can check and Google it. Lint is used in almost in all kind of the development and the programming language. So basically the lint will help us to check that what are the issue that actually we have in our application or the function or the class or the whole project that we have. So let's say when we are creating a project in the Android Studio, we use a lot of things. We use a class, we use a function, we use a namespace, we create a resource file, and we have a lot of things are included in the project itself. So how do we keep a track of what is actually a best way to the best practice, or how do we know all of this? And let's say we created some class and we imported some the libraries or the packages, but we are not using it, and we created some resource file and actually we are not utilizing or we are not using that resource file. We created some text and we hard-coded it. So how do we find out all of those issues? And as a developer, it's really difficult to keep a track of all of those things. Sometimes we do forget, and it's really hard for us to keep a track. So using the lint, it will help us. So lint tool will help us to find the poorly structured code that we have written or that can affect the reliability or the efficiency of our Android application itself. So it will find all of those issues and give us the report, or it will give us the definition and why do we need to fix it. Also, it will give us a function, or it has the ability that how do we rate each of those. So if you want to exclude some of these error messages, or if you want to exclude some of those warning messages, we can do all of those stuff. So the lint is really helpful. And in Android Studio, it provides a code scanning tool. So basically in the Android Studio, there is a code scanning tool which is called a lint, and it will help us to identify and correct the problem that we have in our code, and without actually going to write a test. And the test case is really important, as well as the lint checking. So it will help us to detect the level of the severity that our application has, like let's say the hard-coded text or the imported package is not used. So all of those things it can scan for us and give us the recommendation how do we want to fix it. So enough talking. I think you may go to this documentation side and read more about the lint, and it's really helpful. So if we want to just go and just read all of this paragraph, and you should understand it clearly over from there. And there is a figure over here which says this is an app source file, or the project file we can call it. And then we have a lint tool over here. And then we also have a lint.xml. Later we'll see how do we create the lint.xml and include in our lint tool. So using this lint.xml file, we can actually mention that whether we want to ignore a certain kind of the warning, or or whether we want to have different kind of warning labels for each of those warning, or the lint tool that give us, like it give us the output of the correctness or the security or the performance. So all of these are the output. Give us the output and say what is the performance issue and how do we are going to fix it, and in security what is the security issue. So it will give us the description as well as where to fix and how to find it in our code. So you can see that the application source code file is a source file contain the file that makes your Android project itself, including the Java, Kotlin, and the XML files, icons, and all of the program configuration. All of this stuff are included in the Android source file. and the lint.xml file, which is a configuration file that can use you to specify any lint check, that how do we check, and if you want to exclude some of the checks or they customize the problem severity level, like let's say it should be what kind of the severity that you want to give for each of the lint check that it has provided for us. And the lint tool is the static code scanning tool, and that can run on your Android project either from we can use from the command line or from the Android Studio itself. And the lint tool can check the structural code problem, and that could affect the quality and the performance of our Android application. It is strongly recommended that you correct any error that lint detects before publishing the application. So it's a strongly recommended way for your Android application. If it's a recommendation but not a compulsory or the mandatory, but it is a recommendation, so which means that it is recommended, so we should actually do it. But if you never do it, that's still fine. You can still publish your application, people can still use your application, but there may be a lot of the issue on the code structural problem and a lot of the things that may be included in your application itself. So let's go and create our first project, and then we will see everything in a practical way. So I'll just go and create a new project from here. I'll just select let's say a bottom navigation activity, and let me create a next, and let us give some application. I'll just say test of the lint, and that should be fine. Just click on finished, and let us wait for the application to configure. This may take a bit time to download all of the build.creator files and configure for us. So I think we should wait for it before we can continue. Yeah, so I think it's done already, and the build is done for us. So what we will do is let me just go to the home fragment over here, and let me see that the text over here. So currently I think we don't have any text. So what we can do is we can just assign a text directly over here. I'll just say as a home and HOME, right? So it gives us some warning that hard-coded text, because I just gave it over here. Later we want to see that how the lint actually report this one, so we want to check out that one. And so that's it. So the project is already created for us, and the next thing is that we can just go to the toolbar over here and go to the analyze, and we can actually run the inspect the code from here. And the inspection scope, the scope is over there, whether you want to run for the whole project, or if you have a multi-module project, then you can just select on the particular project or the module over there, or just a single file, right? And let me select the whole project for now. And if you have a test source set, whether if you have written any test cases, and if you want to check on that one too, then you can include this one. So currently we don't have, then I can just uncheck that one. And the inception profile, you can just create a profile for the default project and go to something like the lint and the correctness, all of the, you can see the warning level, the severity is warning, right? All of those are actually included over here. And I think we can just go to the Android and lint, and you can see a lot of things are correctness and the performance, security. So in the security, what we have, the hard-coded ID uses. So all of those are over here. So it will actually go and try to use all of those. And if you want to just uncheck some and remove from the lint check, you can actually use over here. And we are not going to modify anything. By default one is perfectly fine. And just click on OK over here, and that should actually run the code inspection or inception over here, and will give us some of the information. So it's really fast, you can see, and it gives us the 6 warning that we have in the Android itself, and then 3 warning in the Kotlin itself. And this is a typo. I think that should not make any effect. We just have to focus on the warning and warning that we have, warning or the error, that are the things that we have to take a look. So let's go to the Android and we go and check for the lint over here, and you can see the lint itself inside have the correctness, the internalization, and the performance, productivity, and the security itself over there. So let's try to fix and see how we actually going to use it. So let's go to first of all the correctness, and in the correctness we can see the Gradle dynamic version, and if you click on that one it will give you some information that is really helpful over here. And which says that the Gradle dynamic version, which is using the plus, and if it may be difficult for you to see, it's really on the small font size over here, but that should be okay. So you can just go and create a project and actually just create a default project and run it, and it will give you the same error over there. So just read through this one. Using a plus in the dependency lets you automatically pick the latest available version rather than the specific name version code. So however, this is not a recommendation, or it is not a recommended way. That's why it's giving us some kind of warning over here. And the main thing that we have to take note is the issue ID. So issue ID is the main thing that we have to take a note, which is Gradle dynamic version. So later if you want to exclude this one, or whether you want to give a different severity label over here, then the issue ID is really important. So we have to make use of the issue ID to exclude it, or whether we want to give some kind of different severity label over here. So let's go to that particular inside this one, and it is on the build.gradle file, and you can see it will show where is that particular warning. So this is the line it has highlighted for us. So this is the one that we need to fix. So it's also give us some useful information over here. So right, that's really useful and really helpful for as a developer to see what is the error and where it actually to find that particular error. So we'll go and fix that one first of all. Let's go to the Gradle script and go to the build.gradle over there, and we will make use of something like 13.1. I think that is the latest version that we have. I'll just remove the plus sign and just synchronize that one. Okay, so that's great. And also we have another one. Let's try to see that the fragment container view instead of the fragment. So if you use the fragment container view instead of the fragment tag, and that the fragment container view replace the fragment tag. So all of those information you can actually leave, and the main thing is the issue ID that we can take a look. So issue ID is the one that we have to note, which is the fragment tag usage. So let's go to that one, and we try to fix that one. I think instead of the fragment we have to make use of the fragment container view. Okay, so now we have fixed our two issues from here, which is of the correctness, and then I'll just try to go and analyze and inspect the code one more time, and just select the default whole project and just run it. Just wait for that one. It will take just a few seconds because the project is really small. And if we go now in the Android, and then we can see that it has been removed, so we don't see that particular error, the correctness anymore. So just the internalization, sorry for that one. So internalization that's really difficult to pronounce for me, and I think that is internationalization. I got it. I think I got it correct. I think internationalization. So that is actually for the, I think, hard-coded text that we have previously we saw, right? So we had hard-coded the text as a home over here. So currently we saw one way on how to fix that particular issue, where to find. I think you are quite familiar already, and we saw how to run it from the inspect the code from here. And the next thing is we will learn about how to run it from the command prompt. So if you go to the terminal over here itself, then we can say gradlew, and we will just say a lint check over there. So lint, and just run that command, and where that is coming from, if you go and go to the slow in Explorer, then we will find that all of the information over there. So let's go to the particular, and I will show you that where is that one. It is over here. So here, this is the the batch file, window batch file, that we can actually use to run that command. So just use that command, and then it will take a bit of time. It's not so fast like we use the inspect the code. You can see it will analyze all of those stuff and will give us a beautiful report. So the main thing is over here is the reporting. So it will give us the reporting which is on the XML format as well as the HTML format. So that is really helpful. So you can just go through the report, or if your manager or if you're a team lead requires some kind of that kind of the information, that you can just print out that or pass that particular report file. So you can see that it has wrote the HTML and the XML report for us. So if I want to check that particular file, I can just copy this link and I can go to here and just paste that one, and it should open that particular file. So now you can see we have this overview. So we have a lint of the 4 which has this one, and security and the performance and the productivity and the internalization as well as the visual checklist of 34. So now we have a hard code. If you just click on it, will take you that particular link. Otherwise we can just scroll over here. So for this one, I think we'll see in later how to add the lint option in the Gradle build, and allow backup. So this is the another one that we have. So this is a beautiful report. You can see all of these are provided for us in a beautiful report, right? So if I want to go and check, or if your management requires some kind of report, this is really helpful. And you can just click on this particular and it will take you to that particular lint option. So you can see that we have a backup option, right? And also if you go to the code over here, it can also which is of the XML. If you want our report in XML, then we also have in the XML over there. So let's try to check out that and report, and let's try to fix one by one. So allow backup. So if we go back and take a manifest file, and we have included the allow backup true, but this is really helpful because we need our application to back up some of the data for our user, like the shared preferences, or whenever the user uninstall that particular application and reinstall back. So previous data is preserved for them, like the shared preferences and some of the database itself. So this is really helpful, and we don't want to remove this, and we don't want to get the warning for the lint check. So we can suppress this one. So how do we suppress that one? Is we can write, actually we can go and write this some file, and if you go to the documentation, it has mentioned that we can write the file that we previously, you can see that we can write a lint file, create a lint.xml file. So just copy this name and we'll just go and create the same. So where we can create is, I'll just go and create inside this and call a new file. Where is that one? New file, and call it as the lint.xml. Okay, and then we will just give a XML version and the encoding of the UTF-8, and I'll just make yourself a lint over here. And now in the lint we have, and if you, where is that file? If you want to see that particular file, you can go and check here. It should be not in your root project, it should be inside the app folder and the lint.xml file. So make sure you place that file inside the app folder, and inside the app folder you should have the lint. Don't create on the root directory over here, as it has mentioned here to create in the, place it in the root directory of your Android application. So now we have a lint file created already, and now we can issue the issue and the issue ID. So this is the one that I previously mentioned, that the ID is important. If you want to have a different severity level, like the severity is ignore, or you want to change the level, so this is the issue ID that I was previously talking about. So if I go back to my project again, and I can just say the issue that we have, now we have, this is the ID. So allow backup, and I can just say the severity level is, I just want to ignore that one. I don't want to get any error for that or the warning for that particular issue. So if I go to the report itself, we have this one, allow backup, security, and the warning and priority is of the 3 is of to 10. And I think that should be fine. So now we have actually, I think that should be fixed. And if I just I think I'll just go back and again run I have included this file. So now I'll show you the another way to actually run the lint. So just now we saw a two-way. One is from the analyze, the inspect the code, and one is from the terminal itself to run the Gradle lint command over here. So the next, there is another option also we can make use is to go to the Gradle from here and just go to your project and go to the tasks and the verification, and you also have the lint check over here, and also over here I think in the verification we have a lint check. So I will run, you can just double click this one, it will also execute the same command for us actually, and it will go and also create a report for us. So just wait for this one to complete. It's lint successful, so we don't have any errors. It's a 5 issue, and if I just copy this file and open that particular file from here, just it gives the hard-coded text is there, the KTX extension available is there, but the previous one, which was the backup, is not there. So we have ignored that one. So if we go to over here and say we have ignored that severity, that's why it's not giving us that particular error over there. You can see that it has been excluded. So now we currently have the unused resource, and then we have removed this one, and then we have another one is the hard-coded text. So this is the another way that we can whether exclude or whether we want to give some kind of different severity level over there. And also I can just go to the app and go to the verification, and if you have a lint debug and lint releases, whether you have a release version, so if you have a debug as well as the release build type, then you can check for whether a build or the release type. So if I run one more time, and let's take a look from here, and we can also add some other option over here, like I'll just copy this and just paste it below, and we can just go back to the report and the hard-coded text. So if I want to exclude that one, let's say the hard-coded text, I can get the ID. Right? If you don't know the ID, you can just run from here. So analyze and inspect the code, and it will give us that particular ID, the issue ID. So it's really helpful for us. So now if I go to Kotlin and the lint, and if I go to the performance, the unused resource, and we get the unused resource. So if I just duplicate this one, and I can just make use of this unused, or I can just find from unused resource and I can just ignore it. Or for the hard-coded text, I want to give as a error. So now if I again go and analyze inspect the code over here, this is a way to find out the issue ID as well as how to do a lot of this stuff. So now you can see that the hard-coded text give us over here, and then the another one unused resources limit. And if I go and actually go and run the command and generate a report for us, let's try to generate a report for us. Now you can see that the build has the error. So why this error is actually coming? So error, the hard-coded string, and it has mentioned that the hard severity is of error. So when there is an error, the build is failing actually. So we have mentioned that the error, so it will not build our application actually. You can see that the build error is there. But if we just go and say that as a warning only, right? And then again, if we try to go and run that actually the lint command from the command prompt, and then it will actually go and pass that build for us. You can see that build is successful. But if you want to give us an error, and then if you try to just let me run from here, it will fail. and not generate the report for us. So how do we actually go and continue the build when we have the error on our lint check? So this is not a good practice, because whenever the lint check is there, if you want the build to stop and fail, that's a good practice, because there is an error and we have to fix that one before we can continue, right? But sometimes you don't want that one. Whenever the build is whenever we have an error in the lint check, we still want to continue the build. So there is an option over here. If I go to, I think I'll just close these, all of those, and if I go to down somewhere here, they have mentioned that how do we lint option. Actually, we can add the Android lint option. So I think check, and I think we have somewhere over here. Let me find out that one. Where is that one actually? I think not over here. I think I saw somewhere over there, but I think it's not here. So where is that one? So I think it's not there. So let's go and create ourselves. So I will just go and go to the project over here, and just close all of those, and I'll go to the build over here, and here we will include that one. So we have to add a lint options, and inside this lint options, so it should be in a small letter, lint options, and here we can actually write the on that particular code actually to it. So first of all, let me open that. I'll just go and open the log. Where is that? The report, previously generated report, is over here. So let me just copy this and open that report, and it has also mentioned us for to lint option and disable this one. So I'm just suppressing the warning which over here, right? So just copy this option itself myself too, and just go back and paste it over here. Paste that one in the lint option over there, and then we will write there is some option abort on, I think, error equals to true or false. So I think this is the command that we actually have to write. I'm pretty nuts. I think it should be the one. So abort on error, then we just say false, true or false over here. So let me try to again build it. I think that should be the one, and just test it. I think that should be the one. And okay, so let's wait for that one to come up. And okay, so we can see the build is successful over there, so which means that it's great, and we can on abort on error false. So if you set it to true over here, then it will not continue when we have an error, and it will not generate us a particular report for us. If I go and run that one again, then the build should stop and give us an error that there is an error for us. So we can see the build is stopped. And now if I go and check some of the options from here, like if I go to we can also add the suppress lint and to the particular class or the function level, and then we say suppress lint and the new API. So we can actually provide that particular level of the suppress lint and add what kind of the link that you want to suppress. So let's go back to our project over here. So let us try to analyze the code one more time, and let's see the output. So we have a 3 warning in our Kotlin class. Let's try to fix that one. So if I go and see that we have the remove the redundant SM constructor, so I can just suppress that one. And if I go to that particular file now, and if I go to the dashboard, and we have that file added over here, right? So I can just copy this the same for other class, like for the home and also for the notification itself. Okay, And then what we can do is I can just go and analyze one more time, and I think that should fix that 3 warning that we have in the Kotlin class. Yeah, so this is all how we can actually do, and it's a really great way that we can check a lint in our Android application, because it helps us to fix a lot of the issue with our code, and it will make your code much readable and more robust and more without less error prone, and the performance of the application will eventually increase, because we have removed all of the unwanted the code as well as the resource file. So all of those have been fixed over here. So if you are not using the lint, then it's the right time to go and actually use the lint in your application, and it will improve your performance of the application too. So I hope you learned something new over here, and if you like it, just give me a thumbs up, and just share my video with your friends, and just come back and watch it again if you are not if you may not understand it in the first time, so you may have to watch a few more times just to catch it up. So let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.